Hey guys, following the fast fashion conversation, I want to talk a little bit about operating costs and production costs for small businesses or small creators, because it really does illustrate just how much fast fashion is wrecking the perception of how people see products that they find. I feel like if people understood what actually goes into creating some of the stuff that a small business like mine creates, you would understand. So I crunched some numbers. Let's start at the top. So retail, I'm selling this bag for $58. That's kind of the median price. So on my Etsy store, let me just preface this by saying Etsy gives preferential treatment and visibility to small businesses that offer free shipping. We have to absorb that. So we either work that into the price of the product or you just eat it because it's part of exposing your brand to more people. And when you're a small business like mine, competing even in the Etsy marketplace, you will do whatever you need to do in order to get some kind of an advantage. We're gonna go through this itemized. It costs $5.65 to ship it. The listing fee is 20 cents. The Etsy ads fee is 58 cents. And then there's a transaction fee of 6.5% for $3.32. And then additionally, there's a processing fee that Etsy takes, which is 3% of the order total plus 25 cents. Those costs already is $11.63 right off the top. Okay, that leaves me with $46. Now out of that, I have to buy the outer fabric, which is $7. These are wholesale prices. I'm paying for these $7 a yard. For the lining fabric, it's $8 a yard. For the interfacing, it's $4.50 a yard. For the zipper, $1.25. The magnetic closure is 50 cents. The woven label is $1.25. The hang tags are $1.50. Shipping tags, stickers, bags used for shipping total around $3. Now, my time, I am not getting paid for any of this. Cutting the fabric, I have to cut interfacing, lining, and outer fabric, sew the bag together, the packaging and shipping, the marketing and social media, and the business development. I'm not getting paid for any of that time in this little illustration that I'm showing you. The total cost, which is all of the production cost for the hardware and shipping, is $27. Add the $11.63 from Etsy, and we're at $38.63 before I make $1 off of this, okay? What is left that is what's left. If I really sold it for what the bag is worth, my total cost, including Etsy, is $38 per bag. Times 3, which is how you price something when you're doing retail and wholesale, that would make the bag $114 in order to cover just the costs. That's still not paying myself for my time. Okay, so because I'm a small business, I'm willing to let that roll in because I can make some of that up in other places. You have to figure out ways of pinching, and you have to get really creative with marketing. You have to price things with a little higher margin in order to make up for the time. It is a juggling act, okay? So when I put a sale on my Etsy shop, it was between 50 and 75% off. People were just buying these bags up at $20, $27, they were flying out the door. This is what got me thinking about all of this. It's like pulling teeth to get people to pay the basic price of what it's worth just to cover the cost. When you give them fast fashion pricing or pricing that they can get, they can get that on Amazon. So here's a couple of options that are similar to my over-the-shoulder bag, not exact styles, but closer. The price points for these bags on Amazon. This is the conditioning. This is you can go to Target and buy a yoga bag for 20 bucks. That's because you've got these giant companies buying up all the material for pennies a yard. They're buying in bulk, so they get way cheaper prices. They're paying their people to sew this up, not paying them jack shit, slave labor. And what it's doing is it's skewing the perception of the consumer, thinking that when somebody on Etsy is actually pricing their stuff where it really needs to be, what is a fair price for a small business, people don't want to pay it. Now, when I put something on sale on Etsy, I end up paying money to move this product. I just wanted to start the conversation because there's so much more about this I could talk about, but I think it's really important because if we don't start having conversations like this, small businesses and small creators are going to get squished out. We have to start supporting. I'd like to know what you guys think of it. Are there artists or are there industries that you're willing to pay a little bit more for because you know you're getting quality? Anyway, this is the first video of probably a few I'm gonna make about this topic. It has to be done, and I don't mind doing it. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to this point. And if there's any solutions that you've thought of that would be helpful for small creators, artisans trying to keep their business together and not getting squished out by fast fashion companies or large corporations, I would love to hear it. Leave it in the comments, and I'll see you on the next video.